Hey there, eager listeners. Did you know that we have questions? Well, of course you knew that. But did you also know that we have socials? Because you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or Google+. All you have to do is search for questions we have. It's kind of backwards, but everything else was taken. What's that, you say? You have disposable income just sitting around with nothing to do? Well, you can go ahead and pass it our way. Just head on over to our Patreon and donate to us at We Have Questions. So if you have any suggestions, comments, and of course questions, you can email us at questionswehave@gmail.com. And who knows, it might even show up on a future episode.
So those guys were French. So when they went up to Captain America, were they going, "Oh, Captain America, we have a bone to pick with you"? Like, is that...
You went from like French to like stereotype Hispanic.
Yeah, I kind of did.
Yeah,
I don't know how to do
kind
accents.
of just drop down real quick.
Whatever. I just went from Pepe Le Pew to
Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Thank you. I can't think of his name. Oh my god, did you see that look? Oh my god, what is his name? Welcome to the podcast.
One stereotype character to the other.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Luis.
This is We Have Questions. And so like this week, like we said last week, if you listened to that, we were watching Winter Soldier.
Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Yes. And it was good. Reserved. It was a reserved good. I'm doing lots of stuff with my head, and Liz is making fun of me.
You're going all over the place.
I don't know how to feel about this movie. I mean...
Well, what'd you take away from it?
I took away from it that Captain America is very against lack of freedom in the world, which is relevant because America! Like, of course he's going to be against somebody taking away his freedom. That's why we named them Freedom Fries. I'll have you remember. God, what an embarrassment for American history.
Hey, Captain, you free for pizza tonight? Of course I'm free, Tony. I'm an American.
Hey, how come we didn't do the first one? The first Captain America?
Because this one helps tie a little more into Civil War. Like, it has some of the same running themes.
Yeah.
And so, with that, being released this weekend, we were just like, let's go ahead and get up on the Cap hype, Team Cap all the way.
Whatever. I'm actually undecided, but I'm leaning more towards Team Iron Man. I don't know.
I think
we had
you're
a couple
leaning
of...
towards Team Iron Man just because Black Panther's on the team.
Look, yes.
Okay,
that's what it is.
There you go. That's all you had to say.
For the record, Black Panther is absolutely my favorite Marvel character. And I say Marvel because Batman cannot be unseated from his top position as I drink from my Batman cup.
Black Panther's so much better than Batman, though.
Undoubtedly. However,
In every single way.
Batman kills people, Lewis.
According to Zack Snyder, yes, he does.
Oh, man. All right. So I zoned out in the first part of this movie, like I do every time I try and watch it. There's this really long exposition scene that I can never pay attention to,
And
seemingly.
that's right before the first mission.
Sure. What the hell happened? Why were they attacking that boat? What was going on?
The whole exposition was pretty much talking about the mission, and the mission of the boat was there's hostages on board, and we need to go ahead and get them away from French pirates led by
Captain America!
led by French mercenary freaking George Batroc, aka Batroc the Leaper.
Who played him?
George St. Pierre, a freaking Canadian MMA fighter.
So a Canadian's playing a French guy who
Who
later
they
on...
said was Algerian. Yeah.
Nailed it. We know French.
Yeah.
We get it. That's all three of those are French, BT dubs. I don't know if you knew that. There's Canada.
Yeah, French Canada.
Then there's France, of course. And then there's French Algeria, which
Yeah.
went through a very bloody, horrible independence war.
Yes.
Which I did several reports on for school. Thanks, education.
Yeah.
It goes into the World War II thing, the whole existentialism thing that I was super interested in, so it works.
Yes. Yes, it
Okay,
does.
so MMA fighter dude.
Plays Batroc.
Sure.
And the whole thing was getting hostages and whatever off. And apparently there was a top-ranking SHIELD agent there as well.
The guy with the
for
weird
some
glasses
reason, yeah.
that's bald, right?
Yeah.
Whatever his name is. Who
Jasper
cares?
Sitwell.
That we later find out, spoilers, hold on, spoiler alert, right now, if you haven't seen this movie, go watch it, first of all. Second of all, welcome back from watching that movie because I'm not sure if you saw it or not. And now we'll go into spoilers.
He's Hydra.
He's Hydra. Hail Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
Super creepy. Hail Hydra.
That's later on. But yeah, he's there, and there's a sub thing going on. Is that there's a whole bunch of SHIELD intel on the boat, and then freaking Black Widow's go ahead and her mission is to go ahead and pretty much wipe that hard drive clean of that intel, so nobody can get it.
Okay, so there's like, I totally zoned out when you were talking right now. There's this whole thing that's going on while they're prepping to go on this mission.
Yes.
That is weird with Black Widow. Why is she being a mother hen?
I don't know. And why is she picking now to do it?
Yeah, like, okay, so previously, what we've seen, previously on Avengers, we've seen the Natasha being a robot. She's a femme fatale kind of character, which is fine, but, I mean, it leaves something to be desired for the only female on the team. Mm-hmm. So rather than going with a full-fledged, here's an actual character, they went with another trope, which is weird. Not to mention the fact that they went with like a 40-year-old trying to get her friend at the office laid trope, which was a very strange choice.
Well, it's a very weird thing to do.
I still don't really understand it. But it's like a recurring theme throughout the movie. There's several recurring themes. We'll touch on them through this movie. This is one of them. It's like a constant thing that she's trying to get him laid. Bye.
There's no reasoning for that. Especially during mission preps and everything like that, too.
Yeah.
Like maybe on downtime and everything
Sure.
afterwards, then, hey, so-and-so's kind of cute, why don't you ask her out? Or this lady in this department, why don't you ask her out? Something like that would be,
Normal.
Yeah.
Be normal chit-chat to be having.
But...
I mean, are they trying to humanize her, do you think?
I guess so. That's the only thing I can think of. But still, like, during a mission prep, while we're getting all our gear on, while we're going through, like, the mission, points and everything, what everybody's going to do, this squad do this squad do this squad follow Cap while he takes the lead. Let me go ahead and clean out my guns, make sure everything's looted up, ready to go, I got enough ammunition on me. So why don't you go ahead and ask this lady out? Because,
It was the lubing. That's what made her think of it.
Probably.
That's what started this whole thing. She started lubing her guns, and then she was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get Cap laid. That's what happened. I just figured it out right now. Mystery solved. Well, okay, so then they go down into the ship, and there's this weird part that I really hate. It always makes me think of it. Every time I see Captain America's shield ricocheting all over the place, I'm like, what is going on with this? You've explained it to me that he's an expert marksman, and so therefore it's okay for him to be doing that. I have a problem with the alloy itself. Captain America's shield is made of
vibranium and adamantium fragments.
And that means that the vibranium should absorb the majority of the impact whenever he is hit in the shield. Yes. Right? So when he hits the shield against a wall, it should absorb that impact. Why doesn't it?
It does and redistributes it because
that's not how absorption of energy works. In the way that vibranium is explained, I get super mad about this.
You're super mad about this right now.
It's inconsistent is my problem. If it was consistent, I would be like, sure, fine, I can accept that about the world, right? It's like the Ghostbusters thing. There's ghosts, okay, I can accept that. Keep them consistent and I'm good. This shield is an example of it being inconsistent, okay? It can hit the wall and ricochet around, right? So that means that it's using the same kinetic force that's hitting the wall to redistribute, as to say your word, to ricochet off, right? Okay. I'm starting to think that maybe the outside rim of the shield is made up of some other element, steel or something like that. Element, it's not an element, it's an alloy, it's another alloy. But you get my point. Then I can believe it. Okay, now I understand how it can hit the wall and then bounce off and, have a understandable pattern for an expert marksman to be able to aim. Got it. Sure. Okay. Wish somebody would have explained that, but whatever. I shouldn't have, as a fan, I shouldn't have to sit around and think for 30 minutes about how this fucking works, okay? But then I have another problem with this. There's two big problems with this. The first one being the ricochet, the second one being, how in the world does it absorb the energy, okay? Because it is really inconsistent. Study some metallurgy, and then we'll talk about this. I am Batman after all. I'm an expert in this.
Yeah.
So, please.
And then tell me why does his freaking batarangs do that kind of shit, too?
Because they're magic, obviously. gotta have a way to beat Superman, and it's magic. The end.
Not the BS kryptonite.
No, fuck. Oh god, Batman v Superman is gonna be. It's on the list.
Yeah, that's gonna be one of. That's
It's-
later
I
down
think-
the watch list.
I think we're gonna do it when it comes out on DVD, Blu-ray, so that everybody has access to it. Because until it's out of theaters, I think it's gonna be unfair to do it.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be. It's gonna be a fun episode, guys. All right. So, in the one hand, during this fight, in the very
one hand-
first part of this,
He doesn't have a shield. On the other hand, he does have a shield.
shut the hell up! I'm gonna murder you. I'm not gonna murder you. He's holding the shield while he's fighting
Batroc the Leaper.
that guy, MMA dude, and MMA dude kicks him in the shield,
Yes.
and it doesn't absorb the impact. Cap actually falls backwards from the hit. Inconsistent, because Captain America takes a direct hit from Thor's hammer
Yes.
on the shield.
But he did brace for that at the beginning.
Okay,
Like, you
Sure.
actually see him hold up and brace himself
sure.
for Thor to go ahead and swing down on him.
Here's my next problem with that, all right? He gets hit again by MMA dude. Falls back again. Cool. Braces the third
Yeah.
time and doesn't.
Yeah, why didn't he brace the
The
second
second
time?
time. He's an expert tactician, right? He's supposed to be really good at that. Like, that's a thing that's part of his super serum bullshit that came with his
Well, that's just
thing.
tactical combat training.
You know what? Shut the fuck up, all right? You're right, and I'm mad about it. I misspoke. Okay, he's supposed to be an expert tactician, so
Yes.
he shouldn't have had to have the second one. It should
This
have been
is
the
true.
first, and then the second, no
And
third
that's it,
one.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't get that either. Like, that is just a fail on their part, pretty much, in the writing. Like, I guess they just wanted to show off freaking, George St. Pierre because, yeah, it's an actual MMA fighter, so here we go.
Yeah,
But
I guess.
other than that, like, I don't have
I'm not okay with it. On top of that, like, okay, so when we see the Thor thing,
Mm-hmm.
the energy gets released in a visible thing,
Yeah,
right?
visible shockwave.
Yes, that's the word I wanted. Thank you. But when he's getting kicked by this guy who's supposed to be stronger than Captain America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's the one that's knocking him over, then why don't we have a visible thing like that? I just want the consistency. That's
Yeah.
all I want. I
Yeah.
want to believe that this world makes sense. I really do, because this is a great world that they've built in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I
Yes.
love it. It's one of my favorite universes to live in, other than the Harry Potter, obviously, because everybody wants to live in the Harry Potter universe. Secondary one would be the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because it's freaking awesome.
I'm not sure if I want to live in the Harry Potter universe.
I'm sorry that you feel that way. I think we need a divorce. I don't mean that. I'm sorry. All right.
Look, the only reason I'm saying is I don't want to live in the Harry Potter universe is because I don't want to be forced into like one place, for how many years they have? What, 8 years of schooling?
It's 7, yeah.
7, whatever. Like, I
Are you
don't wanna
sure
be
it's not
forced.
because Draco Malfoy would live in that universe and I'd marry him instead of you?
Look, I would kill him. All right, there'd be no like BS back and forth banter and like I'm just gonna duel you and la 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 that kind of stuff. No, I would straight up murder him. There wouldn't be magic to it.
Yeah.
That would just be my hands murdering somebody.
Sure. This movie has a lot of front-loaded exposition,
Yeah,
and it's like
there's
disguised
a bit
as
of
this action scene. Like, do we like that? Do we hate it? I don't.
It's kind of them just trying to find their footing for the phase 2 and like
Sure.
the writers for this one too. Like them just trying to go ahead and find a way how to take the comic figure of Captain America and how it's kind of like weird and campy and shit like from the comics and set it into a political thriller kind of style.
Okay.
So like that's probably why there was that front-loaded exposition to go ahead and like get their footing and just get the ball rolling. Because as soon as they got like on the ground running, like the story went smoothly and we actually
Yeah,
had
sure.
a narrative to
Yeah.
follow. And everything got tied up nicely at the end.
Yeah, that's true. I just didn't like the exposition because I mean, I don't have a short attention span. When it comes to movies that I'm going in to see an action movie, I don't need 10 minutes of dialogue. That's my problem. Is the 10 minutes of dialogue in an action movie. I want John McClane, all right? I don't want world building. I really don't. I mean, I do, but I don't. I don't like it like this, is what I mean. Like, I don't need 5 paragraphs to build the world for me. Just
Yeah.
build the world. J.K. Rowling, we'll go back to Harry Potter for a second. J.K. Rowling builds this world for Harry Potter in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
When he gets his thing, when he gets his letter for Hogwarts. We didn't need much more beyond that, except for explaining certain parts of the world.
And flying motorcycles.
Thank you. No, it's 5 minutes. The first part's like 5 minutes. Anyway, it's not a whole bunch of exposition. You're given a lot of acting. You're given a lot of visual stuff. You're given a lot of questions that are, answered very quickly. It's cool. It works. The exposition is my problem.
Yeah.
The long periods of exposition that I zone out in.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it does. Like, you have to be fully invested in it for it. Just because of that, because there are just huge breaks of exposition. You're just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I get it. You need to rescue some people from a ship. I get it. Done. I don't need more than that.
Yeah.
I don't need the exposition to disguise the fact that you guys are introducing one of the main recurring themes in this, which is technology. I mean, they're sitting there and they're just using the screen as the intro to technology. This is where we're at in technological world. Look at this. We got a touchscreen. It's super cool. This is some, what did you say?
Minority Report.
This is some Minority Report bullshit. Like, we're just going to show this off for a minute. Like, this isn't something that got done in the 90s. Like, okay, I get it. Technology's a thing.
Technology is a thing.
We'll bring up technology more. But Jesus, it's a recurring theme, and there's two main recurring themes that we're going to talk about. Actually, there's three. Let me take that back. There's three main points that we're going to be talking about that are recurring themes. The technology thing, elevators. Yes, you heard me right. Elevators. And then the third one is the identity question.
Yes.
Revealing, not revealing who you are, all those questions.
Who can you trust?
The technology thing is definitely a recurring thing. Probably we can talk about Nick Fury.
Well, yeah, because it's one of the main points following him, too, because the whole technology thing is him setting up that whole initiative thing with those new helicarriers.
Yeah.
So there's that thing happening, and then, it's all on a freaking super sleek whatever flash drive that he has. Same thing, building up more of the technology. And
yeah, that's true.
The screens in which they're displayed and the retinal scans and everything, like it looks like pretty much like a giant glass window or like sectioning off part of his office and everything like that. Yet there's all the computer stuff right up in that tiny little screen. You get the retinal scans and everything like that. He's voice activated this, so it kind of goes into
everything that Nick Fury owns is voice activated. It's weird. Even the car.
Yeah, well,
he didn't even have to push a button for the voice activation. He just had to be like, "Hey, car."
Yeah.
Do
What's
this.
up, car? How's it going?
Say hello to your mother for me.
He's not Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, he might as well be. All right. No, that's not true at all. Okay, so let's talk about the car seat.
So he kind of, goes through his spiel of being super spy, extraordinaire, and then Cap comes in and wants to figure out, like, what the hell is going on and why was the intel on the boat and everything like that. And so, they get in an elevator and they go down.
Which is one of the elevator things. And we'll mention it as it happens when we're going chronologically.
Yeah.
Every time that you see Captain America in an elevator, that elevator is going down.
Yes.
Every time. There's no him going up in an elevator. It's always going down. It's so weird. It is so weird.
Yes.
Nick Fury does his spiel with Cap.
And tells him about the whole, Project Insight and everything like that. About the helicarriers and everything going on.
Cool reveal. I'll give him that. That coming down the elevator thing into the underground of the Triskelion.
Yes. And then the same thing, bring about the technology, that there's kind of upgrade and everything like that, thanks to Tony Stark,
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Technology right here, because, from the first Avengers movie, when he got stuck in the engine trying to help, get that thing going again, he was just like, I'm going to build you repulsor-style freaking engines for these helicarriers.
Did this movie come before or after the first Avengers movie?
After.
Oh, well, then one of my points is moot. I didn't even realize that. All right, well, I'm just going to cross that off the list. All right. One thing down.
Yeah, it came afterwards. This is part of Phase 2. And so that's why I have the repulsor engines and everything like that, showing how technology is so great. And, we got one of the leading guys of technology, Tony Stark, on our side, helping build that up and why it's been so expansive, I guess, and just growing exponentially, all that stuff. Until we go ahead and get to Fury going up by himself up the elevator to go see freaking Senator Alexander Pierce, Robert Redford's character, to talk about the whole Project Insight thing. He's like, you know what, I think we should probably go ahead and hold off on it a little bit because something doesn't feel right. And that's after his talk with Cap saying like, look, you're pretty much holding a gun to everybody's head and saying, hey, do what's right. That's not freedom.
Yeah.
Like, that's just being a big bully.
Yeah.
You know, first movie, first Avenger, he was just like, no, I don't like bullies. Because, you know, he's been bullied all his life.
Yeah,
He's
sure.
like, don't like
And I understand that. I mean, nobody likes bullies.
And so it goes to that, and then after Fury leaves from there, you get that weird him driving in the car down the street, and so cops pull up next to him, and he looks over at them. It's like two old white guys looking up at a black guy in his freaking all-black vehicle, and he's just like, y'all want to see my lease or what?
Yeah.
And they give him that weird kind of, you know, look.
Did it remind you of Men in Black?
A little bit.
With the two fake people in the car, and then they get sucked into the...
The
You
steering
remember
wheel?
when
Yeah.
it's the fake dude? Or is it one guy or two guys?
It's just one guy.
Why am I thinking it's two? All right. So did it remind you of that? Because it really
A little
reminded
bit,
me of
yeah.
that. I just made that connection, like, right now.
The second Men in Black, when he did that, like, he had the autopilot pretty much. Then the guy got sucked into the steering wheel. He's like, look, I used to have it a black guy, but he kept getting pulled over.
Yeah,
So-
that's hilarious. Anyway,
And so, like, that happens, you know, the cops kind of just, like, glance at him, glance away, start driving forward a little bit, and hit the siren,
which this has actually happened to us.
Yeah.
Which really sucked.
which is ridiculous.
Anyway.
And so, you know, he's just like, whatever. And he's driving down, and then he gets T-boned by another cop car.
Yeah, before he even has the opportunity to try and pretend like he's going to comply or anything like that. Gets T-boned.
Gets T-boned by another cop car. Like, 3 more cop cars all show up, and SWAT team shows up and everything
Sure.
like that. And the weird thing about it is they're all white guys
Yeah.
coming after the black guy. And it's all black
was
vehicle.
Very weird, and all of them were in white cars.
Yeah, except for the
Except
SWAT
the SWAT
team.
teams, of course.
But it was weirdly done, and I'm pretty sure it was to build up that tension and everything like that too, what was going down, but still.
I'm not sure that
I wasn't really comfortable with
the
that.
unconscious racism that's in there, I'm not sure that, I don't think that they did it on purpose.
I don't think they did either.
I think it was just a
but
weird coincidence that we
it's
just picked up
too
on.
weird
but
of a coincidence.
at the same time,
Yeah.
that is super weird.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so but there's a lot of technology in this scene.
Yeah.
He's like telling the car to drive for him. That's a big deal. We don't
Because-
have that
Yeah,
right now.
because after the initial impact, the car pretty much says, hey, you know, your arm's broken.
Yeah, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool thing that I wish happened in the real world.
And then it's just like, there are no, you know, immediate authorities around the area.
Yeah, which
no
is a big
cops in the
deal.
vicinity.
Which
Yet
is a-
he's surrounded by cops.
Yeah, which is a big deal. It just shows that they're not real cops, or they're off-duty cops that are working for Hydra.
Yeah.
So it's like our introduction into the fact that, you know, the most respectable of people surrounding you on any given day could be Hydra. Which, I mean, I think that's what they're trying to say with using the cops to do this.
I think you're right.
Cool. I get it. It didn't feel like it was being beaten over our head or anything like that, which is really
yeah,
cool.
it was pretty subtly just put in
Yeah.
there. Just like, who can you really trust
Yeah.
now?
So that whole identity thing starts coming into play. So he gets away from the weird
Weird cops situation after getting the vehicle blown up by the Winter Soldier.
Sure. How did the Winter Soldier know where he was?
I don't know.
He was like turning seemingly randomly. It
Yes.
wasn't like he was, you know, using his maps or any predictable route.
I
How
mean,
did he know?
The car was just saying, hey, you should get over to this area, like
Sure.
get to the highway pretty much, because there's like no traffic whatsoever. So he's just like, all right, I can just find my side streets and get the hell out of here.
Okay. But I mean, the car is kind of directing him, telling him to turn these certain ways and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
But it is a really weird thing. Like, how did he know where he was going to be
Yeah.
to go ahead and just stand up in the middle of the road and shoot the weird freaking magnetic
Dude, but that reveal,
landmine
though.
thing?
Do you remember when we were in theaters and we were both like, oh shit?
Yes.
Like that? It was a good reveal.
It was a great reveal.
Yeah, we saw this in theaters. Yes, we're that big of nerds. Get over it. We wouldn't be doing this podcast if we weren't that big of nerds.
This is true.
We're comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bucky character is his own weird identity thing.
It's Winter Soldier. You just spoiled things.
Oops. The whole Bucky thing is really weird, the identity thing, because he keeps his face covered for most of the movie.
Yes.
Until that reveal
Yes.
where he's in front of Cap and Cap's like, holy fuck. And it's weird that, I mean, I get that they're trying to tell a story, but it seems unusual as the audience to not know who he is, to have that same reveal for us. We don't know who he is as just a normal casual viewer.
Yeah.
So why have that reveal?
just for that shock.
So we're supposed to identify with Captain America in that scene and then, like, understand where his surprise is coming from?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it worked.
Because I know, it's like from the first Avenger, before he became, Captain America and everything, before the super soldier serum and all that, he was hanging out with Bucky, and Bucky
Sure.
was like telling him, hey, I'm getting my orders, everything
Yeah.
like that. And they were just talking about how they've had this long history together.
Yeah. Okay,
Friends
so
for years.
I'm really good at recognizing people's faces, with the exception of a few. I didn't recognize this guy at all. Because he doesn't
'Cause-
look like himself. Because he's got
he
the
had
long
the
hair,
hair, yeah.
he's got the weird thing on his eyes. I mean, he doesn't
goblin
look like
from
the
Space
same guy.
Mountain.
I would have never, if he was my oldest friend, I would have had difficulty figuring out who he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, I have trouble going immediately to that. You don't have that problem because you went immediately to the iconography
Mm-hmm.
of the Bucky Winter Soldier kind of character. So the metal arm told you
Yeah.
who he was. Me, as a not so into Captain America kind of person, kind of had difficulty figuring out who he was.
Yeah.
Even knowing that it was the same actor. I mean,
But yeah, it's that same thing. It's just that reveal, and it was like set up in the books of the same name, Captain America, Winter Soldier. A nice little compilation of that. Same thing done by Ed Brubaker, who for some reason is an extra in this movie. I saw that a while ago.
Oh,
He was
that's
like one
cool.
of the scientists. I was like, well, that's awesome.
is he the guy that has the gun held to his head?
No,
That would be funny.
that would be funny, but
We're going to talk
was-
about that scene in a minute.
No, he was one of the scientists, I think, brainwashing Bucky. Like, that, it was just that huge setup. Like, Bucky was lost, pretty much presumed dead.
Yeah.
The same time Cap was, in cryostasis, just frozen in ice
Sure.
for 70 years. So, like, he had no idea what happened to Bucky. He thought Bucky died.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it after the point, when they point out, hey, that was Bucky, hey, that's somebody I knew, hey, that's my best friend in the whole world. Okay, now I get why you acted like that. But as just a casual viewer,
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Why are we getting such dramatic music right now? Right?
After that whole Bucky reveal thing, they get captured by the strike team and everything like
that
that.
comes up on my favorite part in the whole movie. So they get captured.
Yeah.
And again, the identity thing comes into play.
Yeah.
So, in two different ways.
Yeah.
So I'm going to point both of them out because it's cool. Romanoff has been shot.
Yes.
It's Romanoff, I swear. Every time I think of her last name, I can't help but think of the Anastasia movie from the 90s. It's just that there's a rumor in St. Petersburg. Listen to that song and then watch this movie. It's hilarious because every time you hear somebody talk to Black Widow, that's all you're going to think. Anyway, so Black Widow's been shot in her shoulder. So she's fine, but she's bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
And Falcon is freaking out, saying to the two people who are guarding them in the SWAT vehicle or whatever, hey, yo, she needs some help. She needs to get to a doctor or whatever, however he says it. So one of the guards stabs one of the other guards and then takes off the helmet to reveal that she's actually Maria Hill, who's the deputy director,
Yes.
okay, of S.H.I.E.L.D. So she is second in command of S.H.I.E.L.D. And she says, God, that thing was just gonna squish my brain in two or something along those lines. And then my favorite line, her first view of Falcon, she just points at him, looks at Cap and says, who's this guy? It's not even a big deal. She's just like, who is this? She's so dry in her delivery that she just doesn't give a fuck. Who is this guy? What can I do? And then they escape, and then they, meet up with Director Fury, and big surprise, he's alive.
Yes.
He didn't die like everybody thought he did.
Nope. The whole thing was staged to go ahead and look like he died, so he could find out who the hell's actually Hydra and what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, he knew something was up during the whole Project Insight thing when he was trying to go ahead and get delayed, and they're just like, whoa, we can't really do that. Like, Robert Redford was just kind of stalling about that instead of just be like, you know what? No, I trust you. Let's go ahead and see about that. He was just like, well, it's going to take a while. We got to have to do a committee hearing and da-da-da-da-da, and just...
Doesn't seem like that's how that would work.
Yeah.
It did seem like pretty obvious that he was somehow involved in it. They decide that they're going to... They know what the plan is. The plan is to use the helicarriers to kill people so that the entire world is now in fear of these 3 helicarriers, which are equipped to kill people remotely from a very large distance at any given point, right? That's the whole plot of the damn movie is that these things are super overreach of government.
Yes.
Okay, I get that. Big brother thing, cool. Cap's against it. That's the point of the damn movie. So they decide, Cap, Falcon, Black Widow, Maria Hill, and what's his name, Nick Fury, decide that they're going to infiltrate the SHIELD headquarters, the Triskelion, going to take these 3 chips and disable the navigation system on the 3 helicarriers, right? Nick Fury has this line in the middle of this that I have a huge problem with. He says, assume everyone in there is a Hydra agent. Why? I have a big problem with this.
Because he doesn't know who to trust. Yeah,
I don't agree with it.
It's the same thing of identity and who can you trust, really.
Yeah, so I have a really big problem with it, and I have a really big problem with the fact that Cap doesn't say anything. It seems like he would have been the first one, possibly the only one, to have been like, hey, wait a minute. But nobody says anything. They just accept it.
But it's happened to him already. Like, he thought he could trust Alexander Pierce.
Sure.
He thought he could trust the strike team that were with him in previous missions. Like, he thought he knew, like, who he could trust throughout this whole thing. Until Fury kind of dropped this bomb on his hands with the little flash drive and everything and just told him, trust no one because fucking... I've just been shot by everybody that I'm supposed to be working with, or supposed to be working with me.
Okay.
So that's why he's just in that same kind of, like, almost paranoia boat. Just like, look, alright, I kind of get it. But even then, when they actually get to the Triskelion, he still gets on the comm and is just like, look, Hydra's been playing us from the inside. And he learns all this from Arnim Zola before they even meet up with Fury.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Zola.
Zola.
Well, anyway.
Yeah, Zola pops in. He's in the computers.
He's
in the computer.
Did you go Swiss accent with
that? For a second, yeah.
Do it.
He's
Do
Swiss.
it one more time.
He's in the computer.
Oh my god, that was the best. It was like Zoolander and whoever the fuck Zola was played by. Whatever.
Toby Jones.
Toby Jones, sure. He's super creep, by the way. He's really good at playing the super creep. He's actually one of the guys that I wish would play in one of the Dark Tower roles. Yeah. But I can't tell you who because it would be spoilers.
Well, we'll go ahead and get into that another week.
Next week, possibly.
Possibly.
We haven't made the decision yet.
Yeah. So.
We're going to make the decision by the end of this episode. Stay tuned.
So he's pretty much saying, like, look, yeah, I've been integrated into Hydra since, Hydra and everything has been finished. Or I've been integrated into S.H.I.E.L.D. since, World War II's been over and everything like that.
Yeah,
and from me, like, I've had Hydra kind of expand through the inside.
Yeah, he gets this whole 007 exposition thing, which happens like twice in this movie.
Yes.
It's weird. Once from Zola and then once from Alexander Pierce. It's weird.
Yeah.
Oh no, spoilers.
Yeah.
You should have seen them. We gave you a spoiler warning. Right? Just saying.
And so, they get to the Triskelion, and Cap's on the comms, and it's just like, look, Hydra's been here since kind of the beginning and everything. So I know for sure that the strike team and the team for Project Insight is part of Hydra. I know Alexander Pierce is the head of this faction of Hydra, or just Hydra, because he's not sure how big it's gotten. But I don't know who else is part of it. And then kind of leaves it like that. So it's just like, look, I'm still unsure who I can trust here, but...
So I have a problem in this. I have another question. This scene immediately precedes one of the big splash page parts of this movie.
Yes.
Where Cap and Falcon are walking across towards the helicarrier, one of the helicarriers. Captain America says to Falcon, if they're shooting at you, they're the bad guys, right? Okay, except nobody knows who Falcon is.
This is true.
And even if they're S.H.I.E.L.D. agents exclusively, with no relation to Hydra, they're trained to, attack anybody trying to infiltrate their areas. So if they see this stranger flying around, one of the most secret and prized things that Hydra's ever come up, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s ever come up with, they're going to defend it against this guy that they don't know, right?
Yes, but...
So why in fuck's name would anybody not shoot at Falcon, honestly?
Because Cap even said that the team of Insight, which are the 3 little helicarriers, are all Hydra.
I mean, that's the Death Star all over again.
It is pretty much the Death Star all over again.
I don't know if I believe that only the Hydra people would be on those. Because that seems like a really big ask for us to believe that.
This is. And yeah, it's true. This is kind of like the second Death Star all over again.
If you don't know what we're talking about, first of all, watch the Star Wars trilogy. The original trilogy. Screw that prequel bullshit, because it was awful. Watch the original trilogy. First of all, Han Solo shoots first. Second of all, The second Death Star, this is actually from Clerks that I'm paraphrasing. The second Death Star had a bunch of carpenters and electricians and, engineers working on it because they were building it. And then it was blown up. Possibly none of those people had any affiliation with the Imperial Army, right? You're not guaranteed to have imperialists being the people building the shit.
Do you think a stormtrooper knows how to install a water main? No, all they know is shooting in white uniforms.
Best line of that movie. Yes, that. Exactly. All right. I mean, it's a big ask for us to believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not comfortable with it.
Yeah, that one is kind of reaching for that point. But, that's the best they got for that one. So
all Hydra agents know is green uniforms and guns. That's it.
That's it. They just know.
And dental plans, apparently, according to Bob. Oh, my God.
Because apparently AIM doesn't have a good dental plan.
I mean, I'm just saying. Whatever. All right, if you don't understand what we're talking about, I'm sorry. Please tweet at us, and we will explain.
Yes.
All of this stuff happens, and then we start on the splash panel scenes, right? So this is the main climax of the movie. Splash panels are...
full book spread of, action, just straight up action going on.
Yeah, okay. And in the movie, they're representing those as these really wide shots that are showing the background in these huge waves. Super intense fighting parts. It's very, very visually based, not very dialogue heavy kind of scenes. We've got two main things that we want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
One is Crossbones, right? So he's the guy who in the very beginning of the movie is the one who's doing the exposition that I never listened to. He's also the guy that in the down elevator is loving in an elevator and ends up attacking Cap along with the rest of those Hydra guys.
Yeah.
Great choreography in that scene, BT Dubs. We didn't talk about it. Probably should have. Whatever. It's a great scene.
We'll explain on that later.
I mean, it's one of those... it's a great scene to describe both the elevator thing and the technology thing in the same scene.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention Cap's tactician abilities and... all of that. It's super instrumental to the scene, to the movie. It's the actual change from him knowing what he's doing to no longer knowing what's going on. And it's in an elevator, and he almost gets, captured using technology with those metal magnetized handcuff things. God, I can't talk. So it's a cool scene. When we're talking about the helicarrier scenes, there's a whole bunch of splash pages, but one of the ones that's not a splash page happens before the helicarriers even get launched. Just shortly after Cap is doing his, hey, Hydra's in the building thing, right? The people who are seen in the room where the helicarriers are going to be launched, the electronic devices that are going to be launching them. I'm not calling them computers because I don't know if they're computers. Mm-hmm. They're electronic devices. I don't know what the hell they are. There's 60 people in this room probably. And
I think less.
You think so? It seemed like there was more people standing in the background. Anyway, It's a very NASA kind of scene. It's what we would think is going on with a rocket launch because it's like the 60s version of a rocket launch scene. All of the people in that room are having this joint thought of maybe we shouldn't launch this because we're the ones that are in control of it, so it's really relevant for us to control this. Mm-hmm. Crossbones comes in and holds his gun to this one particular analyst's head and says, hey, launch the shit, right? Why? I mean, I get it. It's for the drama, right? That we're focusing on one character, that we can see all of his emotion coming out through here. Great, wonderful. Except logic steps in once again. And as soon as that gun goes to that guy's head and nobody else's, I've got a question. Why are we focusing on this one guy?
Yeah.
Is the launch actually being controlled from one panel on when there's, 30 or 40 people around him?
Yeah, there's so many other terminals connected together in that room.
And I really think that if they had had just one or two people in the background be like, Hail Hydra, I got this, then my previous worries about the Death Star bullshit would have been assuaged. I wouldn't have had that problem because, okay, there's Hydra people that are right there. Cool, got it. If Hydra's supposed to be the people who are all powerful and are able to get the entirety of the helicarriers filled with their own people exclusively, how could they not get more than one person in this room to say, Hail Hydra, let's launch the shit? Really? Not to mention, all right, there's a whole other thing that goes along with this. Crossbones takes over that panel, right? Mm-hmm. and he starts launching.
Yeah, he somehow knows how to hack and override the system.
And again, question. Can all 3 helicarriers be launched from only one panel in that whole thing?
I don't believe
Nobody
so.
has an override code. Nobody has, the double set of keys that's like such a trope in these kind of movies that could have just turned it off or something.
Mm-hmm.
Really? We had to go through all of the destruction that happens at the end because why?
Explosions.
Because explosions sell movies. Is that why?
That's why.
I don't understand it.
I think it was just symbolism to the fall of Hydra within S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, just to see everything they've been building for and all that with Project Insight. Just to go and just start towering and going down in flames.
Okay.
Literally going down in flames.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And so it's pretty much saying, like, look, we're chopping off the head now. And now we're going for all the rest of the heads that apparently are going to show up.
Yeah,
Because
but
that's their whole
that
shtick.
doesn't work. In the end, it doesn't.
Work. Yeah. There's still Hydra faction. Like, there's still parts of Hydra running around. Hence, they had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Same thing. There was Hydra all up in that.
Hence, Bob was in Deadpool. I mean, if that's not evidence of Hydra,
look,
say it.
They don't know that Bob is Hydra in Deadpool, and that's Fox. So that's why it doesn't get to do the same meshing.
Whatever. Bob is Hydra.
Bob is Hydra.
Bob is the best Hydra agent that
Bob
ever
is
existed.
is a great
He's
Hydra
terrible. He's a horrible agent.
He's the best agent at listening of how to hide and run. He took those classes. He even talked about it. Yeah. Hiding 101 and knowing how to get the hell out of a building when Wolverine is coming in.
Yeah.
Because all lungs will be punctured or forcibly removed. Yeah. Like, he knows how to do this shit.
I read it. All right. Anyway. So
Go
how does Crossbones know how to do the launch sequence?
I have no idea. He's a strike team operative. He should just know guns and combat techniques.
Whatever. So Bucky versus Cap fight between the two of them, right?
Yes.
Where Cap knows who Bucky is. Bucky has no clue who Cap is or even who he himself is. Big splash scene. Cap is trying to get these navigation chips into the helicarriers so that the navigation thing doesn't work the right way or something like that. So he can take it over.
Uplink to the satellites and everything.
Which, by the way, Cap's on his last one,
yes.
Right? Big drama scene, and then Bucky catches up to him and they start fighting,
yes.
Right? Cap loses his hold on the chip that he's trying to insert into the navigation system.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That adds more drama to an already extremely tense scene.
Yes.
Except for Bucky goes after the chip.
This is true.
Why?
Don't know. I really don't. Also, another point on that. Why was Bucky waiting on that one helicarrier?
That one.
Why didn't he go to the first one Cap was at?
I don't know. Also, how did Bucky know how to fly that plane to get up there in the first place?
I'm feeling it was during the brainwashing thing that happened, like, implementing weapons training and everything else that he would need to go ahead and finish his missions, just implanted in his mind.
Sure.
How'd he know which helicarrier to get to? Because him just putting in the chip does not automatically make this thing go down. They even said at the beginning of this thing, like, we need all 3 of them to go ahead and form that nice little triangle. That nice little triangle of freaking chips going on. Mm-hmm. Of the chips in the system to go ahead and, bring them down all at once. Like, we can't do it separately. It has to be all at once thing.
Yeah.
So, they're still in the air. All 3 of them are in the air, rising up to get to the, max altitude they need, 30,000 feet, whatever, to link up with the satellite. To link up with the satellites, to punch in the... They have to link up to the satellites to punch in the algorithm, which is to take out everybody.
In a world where your car can drive for you if you have a broken arm.
Yes.
And it'll tell you that you have a broken arm.
Yes.
And supply you with an anesthetic in the meantime.
Yes.
Okay, sure, I believe that.
Yeah, so they do all this.
That's consistency. That's what that is.
They do all this, and then freaking Bucky knows exactly where to go. He freaking kills someone in a Quinjet that's getting ready to fly up to go and help out Cap.
Good thing he knew how to fly the plane, didn't he?
He freaking pulled off one of the freaking windows and jumped in there and just took off.
Good thing that thing would still fly even with a missing...
Yep.
Whatever. Alright, I'm just being picky now.
Well, look, I'm just believing that he knows how to fly the plane for, one, his military training, because he was in the army, in World War II and such, and then, 2, the brainwashing thing that happened with the Russians. Mm-hmm. So they probably just implemented all the weapons knowledge and
what is this, the Matrix now?
And everything.
He just uploads to the internet and gets learned everything?
Yeah, why not? They gave
whatever.
him a fucking bionic arm.
So ultimately, it
Yes.
comes down to Bucky's in the right place at the right time.
Yes.
Okay.
Bucky Ex Machina.
It turns into a slate thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's such a master tactician that he can now discover what people are going to do before they even decide they're going to do it.
Yeah, totally.
Sure. But I have a bigger question.
Okay.
Okay. I can sort of accept all of that because that's just movie physics. Okay, I can accept that. I'm not happy about accepting it, but I can accept it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a big question here.
Okay.
When Cap drops the chip,
Yes.
why does Bucky go after
I
it?
have no idea.
Secondary question, why
Okay.
doesn't he break it?
I have no idea.
Tertiary question, why is there a line in there where he's like, give it back while he's giving him a chokehold?
Yeah. Like
All of these things.
All those things are not necessary.
No, they don't make any
They
sense.
do not make any sense.
Bucky's mission is Cap.
Yeah.
He has no knowledge whatsoever of these chips that they're supposed to be putting in.
The
There's no
chips
way
they're
that they could
doing,
have.
What the hell Cap's doing with the goddamn
Yeah.
chips? Who the chip even belongs to?
Uh-huh.
Like, there's nothing in his,
Programming.
pretty much, yeah, that tells him, oh, worry about Cap and, whatever else he has with him.
And
No.
also be on the lookout for this little green square that's like the size of your palm that you'll totally notice and be able to track when it falls out of Cap's hand.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
I believe that. No, I don't believe that. That's a
Like,
big question for
yeah.
me.
As soon as he saw it, had it actually been relevant to him, he would have destroyed it.
Yeah.
That would have been part of the mission.
Yeah.
All right, Cap's trying to sabotage this. Done.
Done. And then the mission would have been over.
Mm-hmm.
And Bucky
then
would have
he
won.
would have continued on to beat Cap.
But we have
That's
this
it.
weird moment of him needing to hold on to it just so that he can choke out his friend to show that he's committed to the mission.
Yes.
As though we don't know. He's Captain fucking America. We know.
Yeah.
We know that he is the number one committed person on the screen. We get it. Even Bucky is less committed. All right?
Yeah. Because
Jesus.
even at their little final confrontation thing and they're fighting and everything, after Cap freaking pulls whatever freaking beam from the helicarrier off of Bucky
Yeah.
because he's trapped, and he's just like, you're my friend, and no, I don't want anything to happen to you, and I'm not gonna fight you, and your real name's James Buchanan Barnes, and we've been friends for years and all that. Bucky's just like, no,
I don't believe it. I don't believe
no.
it. No.
Yeah, just doing all that stuff. Your name's James Buchanan Barnes. No, it's not. Yeah, and just fighting him for whatever reason. Like, you can tell right then, like, he is not fully into that.
Yeah.
That's just like...
What do you mean? Cap is not fully into it?
No, Bucky's not fully into it.
Into fighting back or
Yeah.
not believing it?
Both. Like, he's not into fighting Cap. And he's certainly not into believing what the hell's Cap saying.
Yeah. Okay.
So just like his punches just seem like they're not precise. They're not like, actual punches with feeling. He's just kind of flailing at him. Just
Well, I mean, that can be... okay, so you've watched boxing before.
Yes.
There's a point where the boxer is refusing to give up but doesn't have the strength to actually win.
Yes.
And that's kind of what I think they were going for. That
that's when the
feeling
point
of
system
like,
goes in.
shut up. I refuse to give up. I refuse to give up. I will continue to fight forever.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're trying to get across. So, last question. How did Falcon outrace that helicarrier?
Jets. The jets on his back.
That, maybe?
Because
Maybe.
just the helicarriers, they were only going up. They were just trying to elevate. That's all it was. Like, doing that slow propulsion up and everything to get to that optimal altitude of freaking 30,000 feet. So they weren't really doing it all that fast. They could have easily done it that fast with the repulsor systems that they had on them. Because you see Iron Man, even when he's still, like, testing it out like that, he did it at, like, 1/10 of power or something like that. And he freaking flips and slaps into the wall and all that stuff.
Sure.
Like, he barely used the power in the first Iron Man movie. He barely used that power. And he just like,
Okay.
into the wall, big humorous moment and everything like that. And then he, tweaks it, does it very slowly, and then he's able to lift up and fly comfortably like that.
Yeah.
And then after he makes the first suit and everything, the Mark II, all the silver one, what does he do? He fucking just shoots out of the garage and everything, starts flying around the city for a little bit. Like, the propulsion systems were able to go ahead and go, if they wanted to, just kick on and get up to 30,000 feet in an instant.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of took their time, slowly rising up to go ahead and get to that ultimate, freaking altitude. Yeah.
It would have broken apart at that speed. That's the point of it. Not to mention all the G-forces that people would have had to have gone through.
I guess.
Not a thing that could happen.
They were all strapped down. Except for, like, the one freaking...
They weren't.
Commanding officer guy that was leaning over the freaking navigations dude. Be like, all right, let's plug in the algorithm.
Yeah, that whole thing was weird.
Yeah, like...
Whatever. I don't know.
I think that something would have already happened right when they started booting up the system. Like, our algorithm set and all this stuff. So as soon as they just reached the freaking altitude to go ahead and link up with the satellites, easily lock on to people, and then... start shooting everybody down. Not let's wait till we get to this height, then plug in the thing, and then start locking on the targets.
Yeah.
So what are your best lines of this movie?
Well, I already mentioned one. There was the Maria Hill one. Who's this guy, right? Kind of like it. My other one's it's from Natasha. Of course, I'm going to pick the females, because, I mean, I'm a flaming feminazi, obviously. I hate men. Would never do anything with men or treat them equally or anything. Oh, shit, you're right. I am married to you. Well, anyway. So, I picked the two women, only because they had the best lines in the movie, in my opinion. The Natasha one is, she's in the middle of, she just interrupted Alexander Pierce's little 007 monologue where he's giving away all the ways that he worked to destroy everything. Mm-hmm. And she like takes off the electronic face that made her look like that one lady, and then she pulls off her wig, and you see that it's her, and she goes, "Oh, sorry, did I step on your moment?" Like, it's such a bitch thing to say. I love it. I loved it so much, because she's just got this look on her face, like, I just stepped in dog shit. Like, she just got that bitch face. She got it down. Anyway, what was yours?
Mine was at the beginning, the part you zoned out at, after Sam was kind of being introduced and he's taking his morning laps.
What are you talking about? There were two incredibly attractive men on the screen. Of course I was paying attention.
You didn't hear anything they said, though.
Well, fuck no, I was looking at them because they're sexy as shit. Yeah, I mean, wait, I'm a feminazi. Yeah. Hold on.
Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, doing his morning run and everything. Like, the sun just gets up, and then shortly after that, or during that time, Steve Rogers and Chris Evans, doing the same run.
Thank you, God, for Chris Evans.
And just every time you see, you see Sam kind of taking it kind of easy, like doing his jog and such, you hear footsteps, and then here comes, Steve Rogers coming by on your left. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, all right, thanks. Doesn't think anything of it. Then, second time through, still following the same path. On your left. Yeah, all right, I heard you the first time.
When I was tweeting about this before we started recording, I was like, the hashtag I used was on your left. On your left, yeah. Absolutely.
The third time he comes through again is on your left. Look. All right, yeah, I get it. On my left, yeah. And so he's coming through, and it's coming to that final time for it, and he looks back because he hears him coming. He's like, looks back, and is just like, no, don't you say it. Don't you say it. He's like, on your left. Damn it! And he starts running after him and everything like that.
Oh my God.
And they get to the tree where they actually, engage in conversation and talk about, how they've both been vets and how everything's kind of changed for them. Cap kind of like looking at him, was like, "You're right," because Wilson's out of breath and everything. Hanging out of the tree, he's like, "Oh, no. Yeah, it's just it's kind of tough run and everything like that, and trying to catch up to you." He's like, "Yeah, I know. Like, I actually did that kind of slow. Like, I did that in like 30 minutes. Like, usually more faster than that." He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should take another lap right now."
So that take another lap.
Just take another lap. Like, how dare you be not as good as you're supposed to be, asshole? Again, why don't you make me feel like shit over here?
I really liked Falcon's character.
He was great.
He was great.
Anthony Mackie did a great job.
I'm really glad that they touched on the veteran thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the way they did that. He did a great job.
Yeah.
And it helps build a great character too. And then even after when they're getting towards the final climactic battle and everything like that. Sure. And Fury's telling him the whole plan about what to do for the helicarriers, and he looks at Falcon and he's just like, "Look, I do what he does but slower."
Nice.
Like that.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
The same thing is like, look, I got this guy's back, but look, I'm not as great as him, but
Yeah.
I'm still up on there. Let's do this.
That humility was really nice. I really liked it.
And he
I mean, of
pulls-
course, Chris Evans, the Captain America, is like an incredibly humble kind of character in that movie as well. So it's cool. I really like superpowered people that are like super humble. I really like it.
Yeah.
I also like really underpowered people that are like super arrogant, like Draco Malfoy.
And then he pulls the same thing in Ant-Man 2, where he's just like, look, don't let Captain America know what the hell happened here. Like, after he freaking lost to
Right.
Ant-Man
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything
Oh,
like
God.
that.
That's another one we got to go over. Ant-Man. Look, inside story for you guys. That's actually the movie that started the idea for this podcast. That
Yeah,
movie,
so-
Ant-Man. Jesus Christ, I had so many questions. It was like a joke while we were watching it. Every probably about 10 minutes or so, it seemed like. I'd be like, Lewis, I have questions. I have questions. There are so many things wrong with that movie. I had questions.
You still do.
I will always have questions. You should have more questions. Did you make any friends this week? Did you? I didn't.
I hope you made some friends.
Yeah.
Please, if you haven't made any friends and you know somebody that have seen these movies that we've talked of, go ahead and make a friend.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
We're just trying to help you guys make friends. That's all we want. Yeah,
all we
we're
want.
giving you some talking points to talk about stuff. Go ahead, talk about it. We don't care. You don't even have to quote us. But I mean, point them in the direction of the podcast. We would really appreciate that because
Yep. We like that love.
if you did make a friend this week, though, you can invite them over, sit down, have some popcorn.
Wait, no. Fuck the popcorn.
What?
Yeah, no, fuck the popcorn. You
would
gotta
never.
order some pizzas.
Why?
Because next week, we're talking about fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage
And I'm
Mutant
talking about
Ninja
the
Turtles.
first one. That's right, the 90s version.
Yeah. With
And
those
still-
great props that they had,
Hey.
those masks. My God.
The animatronics were good.
They were so good, though.
All right.
Had more acting ability than, I don't know, Megan Fox.
Yeah,
Ooh, I
so-
went there. Bam. Yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It is not on Netflix.
is not on Netflix.
I'm sorry. You should have that. If you don't have that in your collection,
What
you
the hell's
should,
wrong with you?
You should have it. It's probably at Walmart. Who
It
knows?
should be.
Sit down. Watch it. It's hilarious. There's a Critters reference in it. See if you can spot the Critters reference. If you haven't seen Critters, we'll do an episode on it one of these days.
Mm-hmm.
That is a movie.
Hey, movieception right there.
So we're doing this one because Casey Jones.
Yes, because Casey Jones is coming out in the sequel, played by Stephen Amell.
I mean, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it too. He's a good actor. I've
He's
seen
alright.
him in Arrow. He knows what he's doing.
It's all right. For a
So-
second, I thought he was Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
That's kind of funny.
For just a second, I don't know why. Something about his attitude, maybe. Like, he doesn't normally act like that, so I didn't know who he was.
Yeah,
We're going to be watching that.
Get ready.
Get pizza. Pizza.
that's right. You get pizzas and you go ahead and put all that crazy shit on there like Michelangelo would.
Ew. And don't forget, kids.
Wise man said, never pay full price for late pizza.